The decision to begin A Spring of Hope came out of personal experience. In 2005, my mother and I visited South Africa on vacation and met a couple that knew about a school in need, Beretta Primary. When we visited, we found an enthusiastic and dedicated staff, but a dire lack of facilities to educate the children. Like most rural schools in Limpopo, the poorest province of South Africa, Beretta did not have running water. The garden they relied on for fresh fruits and vegetables would not grow for most months of the year, and the municipality did not deliver enough fresh water to satisfy thirst, wash hands, clean the school, and provide for the garden. In 2006, my mother and I founded A Spring of Hope to provide resources to these schools. Many organizations are helping increase water access in rural areas around the world. We take it a step further by developing programs to ensure sustainability and develop vegetable gardens at each of our schools. Working with local governments, we can reach as many schools as we possibly can. Because inadequate sanitation or the mishandling of water can adversely impact any improvements made, A Spring of Hope also provides technical and financial resources for sanitation and best management practices to partner schools in order to meet the long-term goals of improved health and welfare of its students. The key difference between A Spring of Hope and other organizations working to address water issues in sub-Saharan Africa is that we develop long-term, collaborative relationships with these schools. By providing dependable sources of clean water to our partner schools, we aim to increase student attendance, graduation rates, and community involvement, all of which promotes the long-term goals of improved health and welfare of the students. The staff of A Spring of Hope does not believe technical solutions can eliminate poverty. Different groups must cooperate and look at all the factors that contribute to poverty. We are effective because we listen to the needs of each school and develop unique solutions tailored to them. At each school, our goal is to build a long-term partnership based on an iterative learning process focused on achieving self-reliance. Our partners in South Africa contribute to this mission. After A Spring of Hope installs a well, members of Seeds of Light educate school staff on how to manage the food gardens and properly manage water use. Another partner, Food and Trees for Africa, develops the garden programs for our schools. We don't believe development should be approached as a one-off project. We are committed to long-term engagement through committed relationships with our schools. We provide the resources schools need to achieve their goals, each step of the way. Our metrics of success are determined by each school's own goals and are therefore different for each partnership. Yet most schools struggle with similar problems. Common goals are increased student nutrition, attendance rates, and overall student quality of life. Most of the schools where A Spring of Hope has installed wells are showing improved attendance and graduation rates. Our schools report to us any changes they perceive at the schools and the surrounding communities, good or bad. One of our rural high schools has noted that crime rates have reduced in the communities as more students attend school during the day. This is the kind of qualitative evidence we need to know if our work is having a meaningful impact. It's essential that we maintain our relationships with schools to receive more feedback to improve our methods. A Spring of Hope is different from other water organizations because we develop long-term collaborative efforts with our schools, and we don't view well drilling as a one-off project. Providing schools with water is just the beginning. The wells we build use modern, high-capacity pumps and plumbing, rather than the low-pressure or unmaintainable pumps that have been promoted in the past. This allows schools to take full advantage of their water investment through drip irrigation methods in the garden, sanitary flush toilets in the bathrooms, and drinking water spigots throughout the school grounds. Hand pumps or merry-go-round style water systems cannot provide all of these benefits simultaneously. A Spring of Hope's primary goal is to provide resources, namely water wells, to schools that desperately need them. Our biggest accomplishment has been bringing water and hope to 24 schools in South Africa and Uganda. Some of the challenges that we face in South Africa are duplicative efforts, which means that there's a number of organizations working on the same cause in the same place. And the organizations don't want to communicate with each other because everybody wants to take credit for doing the same thing, like providing clean water to rural locations. Another challenge we face are schools receiving the same services from multiple organizations. And that means schools, for no reason other than trying to provide the most for their students, take away services that could go to other needy schools. And lastly, A Spring of Hope, along with other NGOs around the world, are experiencing mass funding cuts. To expand our success, A Spring of Hope needs to develop additional partnerships within South Africa and hire additional technical and administrative staff. The additional partnerships will allow us to expand our reach. And as the size of our effort grows, we will need increased oversight to assure financial accountability, track progress, measure success, gather lessons learned, identify areas in need of enhancement, and develop a set of standards and means to prioritize schools that we will assist. To do this, we must hire a full-time staff in South Africa, which will ensure our relationships with schools are deepening over time and our knowledge of our schools continues to grow. Our current U.S. staff is made up of part-time volunteers. To increase A Spring of Hope services and programs to the proposed levels, we will require an investment in professional staff in both the U.S. and in South Africa. We will also need to make some strategic investments in our internal development. We've invested in a new website, but we need a full-time developer to ensure that we are increasing our reach through social media and other online communities. We need to expand our fundraising base by using the internet, but we cannot do this without a full-time staff person. A Spring of Hope does our own fundraising, grant applications, and development work on the ground. It is difficult to do all these things simultaneously. Few organizations do all three. This is why it is necessary we divide up our staff, hire new people, and focus on each part.